What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing some insane battles submitted to the channel by Battle Spy's world champion Robert Digiov, who's going to be running the full Snorunt evolution line in the Holiday Cup after finally getting all the XLs needed for the Snorunt in the recent Spotlight Hour. Now obviously this team has zero coverage, so do not try the team at home, but with that being said, let's get straight into the question of the day. What is your favourite Pokemon that has a split evolution line? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so going into the first battle, we're going to see Frostsass into Greedent. So a bit of an awkward matchup just because they can run Crunch. We're going to swap and potentially catch the Crunch onto our Glalie, and it is a Crunch, so that's a nice play there. The opponent does get the debuff with our defense, but Glalie has some decent bulk to it, so we're going to let the next move go through as well. Body Slam comes through, we're going to overfarm, and the opponent makes it to another charge move, so unfortunately already another Body Slam. Bit of a miscalculation there in their energy, but it doesn't matter. We farm to the back-to-back Avalanches, and Avalanche will be taking out the Greedent, and they come in with a Lantern. We barely make it to the Shadow Ball in time, but this is going to do some nice damage. It's not going to do loads, it's non-stab, and like I said, Glalie is fairly bulky, but we're going to come in with the Frostsass, go for an Avalanche bait here. Quite likely that they do shield, and they do end up shielding, but we make it to another charge move here, this time full sending a Shadow Ball, grabbing a shield from the opponent, and at this point we're going to let the move go through here as the opponent's going to go for a Surf. That's not enough to take us out, and we force the opponent to throw their energy straight away here to get rid of the Frostsass, and the fact that they are trying to get rid of the Frostsass so much means that maybe they've got something weak to Ice in the back, so we come in with the Snorunt. We're going to shield the Surf here, going to overfarm. The opponent tries to catch the Shadow Ball there, but we hold onto the energy. We can now go for an Avalanche. This is double super effective. It easily one-shots the Altaria, and we have a Shadow Ball loaded to throw into Lantern. Shadow Ball takes out the Lantern, and we just swept with a Snorunt in the Go Battle League. So that is pretty crazy to say. But into the next battle, we're going to see Cofagrigus in the lead. Not a great lead, so once again, get a swap into our Glalie. This time we swap immediately because they are doing super effective damage with the Shadow Claws up against a Frostsass. We're going to shield the Shadow Ball here, and will we go for a Shadow Ball of our own, or are we just going to settle for an Avalanche? We're going to go for an Avalanche, and Avalanche is still going to do a lot of damage, so we grab the shield anyways, and this time we make it to the Shadow Ball. Is the opponent going to double shield the Cofagrigus? Yes, they are, unfortunately, and they do overfarm just a little bit. They go for the charge move, and Shadow Ball will be taking out the Glalie from this range. Now we actually come in with the Snorunt here, and we will be able to make it to an Avalanche, but the opponent makes a nice catch onto their Charge Bug, so Avalanche is going to be no shielded by the opponent. Unfortunately, doesn't do too much damage, as I don't believe Snorunt has a very high attack stat. The opponent is going to go for an X-Scissor, taking out the Snorunt, and now it all just depends, can Frostsass sweep this game? We're going to let the first move go through here, as the opponent is going to bait with an X-Scissor, so that's perfect for us. That is resisted damage. We're now going to overfarm, go for an Avalanche. This will be taking out the Charge Bug from this range, and let's see, what does the opponent have in the back? Are they going to come back in with the Cofagrigus? No, they come in with a Whimsicott. We've got to make sure they don't make a catch, and they're not able to do so here, so Avalanche will be taking out the Whimsicott, and we make it to another Avalanche to take out the Cofagrigus, and we are able to sweep this game this time around with the Frostsass. So what you're going to notice is that obviously all three Pokemon have basically the same moves. It's only Glalie that has Ice Shard instead of Powder Snow, but otherwise there's zero coverage for this team. So if we see something like a Litleo or like a Bibarel, which, I mean, to be honest, you're not going to see those things anyway, but they will be able to completely wall all of the energy on the entire team. But here the opponent comes in with their Vigoroth, so we're going to stay in. Obviously, we're a Ghost type, so whilst Rock Slide will hit for super effective damage, we're taking resisted damage from these counters, and they do have to go for a Rock Slide here, but the opponent lets the move go through there, and we're able to take them out with the Avalanche. So now we're going to go for a Shadow Ball up against the Jellicent, and then potentially swap into our Glalie here. It does connect, and that does huge damage. At this point, happy to let the Frostsass go down. Shadow Ball will be taking us out. Now we come in with the Glalie. They've got Shadow Venusaur as their third and final Pokemon, which we did see in the lead. Now, I think we actually might be able to live a Frenzy Plant here, so we let it go through. For some reason, they go for Sludge Bomb. I don't really know why that is, unless they're just not running Frenzy Plant, which could be the case, but it's quite unlikely. We're now going to come in with the Snorunt here, and we can just safely shield this up. We should be able to Powder Snow, farm them down, and this time they go for a Frenzy Plant, so not sure why they didn't just go for a Frenzy Plant straight away, but it doesn't matter. We can now go for a Shadow Ball, fully undercharging it here, and it's still enough to take out the Jellicent, and we're able to take that game. So going into the next battle, we can see Frostas into Gligar, so an amazing lead for us, and the opponent is going to stay in with their Gligar. They're going to throw straight away. They might be running Night Slash here, and the opponent is going to go for the Night Slash. That is super effective. Well, it doesn't really matter too much. We've still got 3 Ice types. We should be looking pretty good. We're now going to swap into Glalie, just because if they've got like a counter user in the back, then we need to preserve the health on our Frostlass, and because they are running Night Slash, they would outpace us to the next charge move. But this time the opponent comes in with their Jellicent. They're just going to go for a Surf straight away. No, they're actually going to go for a Bubble Beam, so that's going to debuff our attack. Unfortunately, now Shadow Ball will not do anywhere near as much damage, but we do at least make it to an Avalanche. Now, Avalanche is debuffed and resisted, and it actually doesn't quite take them out, but likewise, a Bubble Beam shouldn't be enough damage to take us out either, and I think we should be able to Ice Shard, farm them down, and the opponent going to come in with a Charger Bug, get the Volt Switch farm down. We're going to come in with our Frostlass here, and we're still in a decent position. We've got 2 shields remaining, so going to shield up the X-Scissor. That is resisted, but it would probably take us out. And then the opponent makes a really nice catch here. I think we should undercharge this, but we don't. And now we're going to come in with the Snorunt. Unfortunately, we've seen already, we lose CMP here, so we're going to let the move go through. X-Scissor is going to do big damage, and it actually puts us into range where they can just simply farm us down. And that is probably the worst case scenario for us, because even though we've still got a shield remaining, the opponent should be able to make it to back-to-back charge moves, and we know it, so we're just going to let the move go through. X-Scissor going to take us out, even though it's resisted, and unfortunately we do lose that game, but really well played by the opponent there, considering they had a Pokemon in the lead that was weak to our entire team. But into the next game, we see Frostas into Wigglytuff, so we're going to go for the Avalanche, throwing after 7. That is good timing up against a 3-turn fast move. We then swap into our Glalie, probably just going to tank the charge move here, as Glalie is fairly bulky, but no, we're actually going to shield it up, and it makes sense there because they are running Wigglytuff, which is a fast move pressure Pokemon. If you kind of start no shielding early on, then you can often just get fully fast move farm down in the end game there. So we're going to go for an Avalanche there, taking out the Victory Bell, and the opponent has Altaria in the back, and we come in with the Snorunt, and the opponent quits the app there, or sorry, quits the game as soon as they see the level 50 XL Snorunt, and we're able to take that game. Now going into the next battle, we see Double in the lead, so this is a fairly okay matchup. They're actually not going to farm to a payback. We're going to shield anyways. It is the Wild Charge, so that would still do quite a lot of damage, but not nearly as much damage as a super effective payback. We're going to build 2 the back-to-back Avalanches, throwing the first one, grabbing a shield, and then winning CMP on the second one. And Avalanche is going to take out the Double there. They then come in with a Jellicent, and at this point, we are going to let this move go through, because once again, that's not a Shadow Ball, and it's just going to be a Surf there, so we can now go for a Shadow Ball, and this probably should be grabbing the final shield from the opponent. We do grab that shield, and now we can swap into our Glalie, and the opponent going to go for a charge move. We're probably going to no shield here, and it is the Shadow Ball this time around, but doesn't threaten a shield there. They won't be able to farm us down, and we do make it to a Shadow Ball of our own. So Shadow Ball going to be taking out the Jellicent, and they've got Unova Stunfisk in the back, so the opponent is just going to concede the match there, and we're able to take that game. Into next game, we see Vigoroth in the lead, so great to see it in the lead matchup here. It's quite likely that they're going to go for a Body Slam bait and then go for a Rock Slide, but let's just see how we play this out. Going to go for an Avalanche straight away, grabbing a shield from the opponent. And we're going to use our shield here. They do go for that Body Slam bait, which is really unfortunate, but we should be able to win CMP, and we do win CMP. Avalanche does this KO the opponent. No, they live with 1 HP and a Dream, so incredibly clutch for the opponent. Rockslide will be taking us out, but hopefully now that we've gotten rid of the Vigoroth, they don't have anything that will hardwall our backline, but Lantern is not ideal for us to see. We're going to go for a Shadow Ball, but like I said, it is non-stab, and this is a fairly bulky Pokemon, but we do grab the final shield from the opponent, and we should be able to tank anything they throw here, so we're going to no shield here as the opponent goes for a Thunderbolt. We should be able to make it to a last second Shadow Ball. That's absolutely huge for us. Shadow Ball will be connecting. Hopefully it puts them into range where we can take them out with the Snorunt, but it's going to be very close. We're going to use our final shield here as they go for a Surf, and can we make it to the Shadow Ball in time? We throw straight away. I actually don't know if we'd win CMP up against the Lantern, so we throw straight away, not taking a risk, and the opponent has a Serperior in the back. We make it to the Avalanche, but we lose CMP up against Serperior. Frenzy Plant will be enough damage to take us out, unfortunately, and we do end up losing that game. But into the next battle, we see Arctopac's in the lead, so fairly neutral lead matchup here, not as dominant as you might think it is because they are part ice, so they're not taking that much damage from our fast move, whilst Dragon Breath does hit really hard in neutral matchups. So we're going to go for an Avalanche, grabbing a shield from the opponent. Now we swap into our Glalie once again, probably just going to soak up the damage here, but we bait out a Dunsparce. So we're going for the Avalanche straight away. Avalanche is going to go no shielded by the opponent, and we should be able to live a Rock Slide reasonably comfortably on our Glalie. They won't be able to farm us down before we make it to another Avalanche, so we're going to throw straight away here, and the opponent is going to use their shield, but they're not going to commit to the farm down. That's actually huge for us, because now we can just let this move go through. Coming in with the Frost Sass. Now I believe the play here is not to throw, yes, just shield this up and then we will come out with a ton of loaded energy, which is always deadly with a Frost Sass. They come back in with the Arctopax, we make it to the Avalanche before they make it to a charge move. Avalanche takes out the Arctopax, they come back in with the Dunsparce, we take them out as well, and they've got Jellicent in the back. Now this is still a little bit scary because Shadow Ball will not take out the Jellicent, so we swap into our Snorunt. Can we make it to the Avalanche in time? Yes, we're able to do so, and Avalanche gonna be resisted, but it's still takes out the Jellicent anyways, and we're able to take that game. So going into the next battle, I'm pretty sure we've already faced this opponent. Yeah, it's going to be the Shadow Gligar, the opponent that actually did really well up against us, but they swap into Lantern this time around. We're going to go for a Shadow Ball here, and Shadow Ball is going to do big damage to the opponent. We should be swapping out eventually, but let's see. We're going to see the opponent goes for a Thunderbolt. We're still staying in here, and we're going to go for a Shadow Ball thrown on the CMP tie with the opponent, and this will be taking out the Lantern. They just let it go through, and now they come in with Vigoroth, and this is really scary for us because unfortunately we're so low that Body Slam will nearly take us out. I think we should let this go through because now we're basically just going to be countered down, which is even worse for us because the energy is going to be super effective up against both Pokemon we have in the back. But we're going to go for the back-to-back Avalanches, grab both shields from the opponent, but unfortunately it's not looking too good for us. So we come in with the Glalie, the opponent will make it to a charge route, Rock Slide going to do huge damage here, but the opponent's actually going to settle for a Body Slam instead and fire off a second charge route straight away. If it's another Body Slam, we actually live that and we make it to an Avalanche in time. That's absolutely clutch from the Glalie, taking out the Vigoroth. And now it just depends, can we live a dig on our Snorunt here? We're going to wait out the switch clock here. Unfortunately, we will not be able to try and make a catch. They make it to the charge route. Does dig take us out? It doesn't take us out, and we can live that. We can go for the Avalanche, and this is double super effective damage. It will easily take out the Gligar, and we're able to take that game. So going into the next battle, we can see Frost Sass into Talonflame, and this is absolutely awful. I've got no idea how we're going to try and play this out, but we will go for an Avalanche, throwing after 7 Powder Snows. Once again, that is the correct timing. Grabbing a shield from the opponent, and at this point, yeah, we're going to have to swap out there, transfer the Incinerate damage, because that way Frost Sass should still be able to make it to a charge move up against the Talonflame. They go for Fly, which is actually kind of good because they're not boosting up their attack, which makes it slightly easier to live the Incinerate damage, but we're going to go for the Avalanche, throwing it straight away. This should be grabbing the final shield from the opponent because they're recognizing we are incredibly weak to fire, but we're going to let the next move go through as the opponent goes for the Fly once again. At this point, can we actually farm down with our Snorunt? It might be close, but the opponent comes in with their Shadow Victory Bell. We're going to have to fire off an Avalanche straight away here. We're taking so much damage from the Razor Leafs, taking out the Victory Bell there with the Avalanche. And can we get the farm down? We're actually able to get the farm down there. We're going to swap immediately into our Frost Sass, go for the Shadow Ball, and this is going to do big damage, but I don't think we're making it to a second Shadow Ball on the Snorunt. It's going to be close, but we barely miss out, and unfortunately Lantern is able to spark, farm us down, and take that game. But honestly, we made it pretty close, considering Talonflame absolutely destroys the entire team. But into the next game, we see Miltank in the lead. Pokemon that I actually just forgot existed. I forgot that it got rolled out because Dunsparce is actually pretty good, whereas no one uses Miltank whatsoever. So, quite interesting. We're going to let the Body Slam go through. Honestly, I mean, we would have been able to resist that on our Frost Sass. And it might be that the opponent's running Body Slam and Ice Beam as the secondary charge move, which is why they didn't throw it up against the Frost Sass, but we're going to let the next Body Slam go through as well, finally go for an Avalanche before the opponent's able to fully roll out Farm Us Down, and Avalanche grabs a shield from the opponent. They do get the farm down. But at this point, I think it's pretty safe to come in with our Frost Sass, and this should just be another Body Slam or an Ice Beam, and the opponent is going to go for that Body Slam, double resisted. We get the Powder Snow farm down, and they've got a Wigglytuff in the back, so A lot of charm, fast move pressure here, but we're going to go for an avalanche pretty much straight away, grabbing the final shield, going for avalanche number 2, and then we might swap into our Snorunt here just because they will just be able to farm us down otherwise. And here, unfortunately, we're going to have to throw a charge move to get rid of the Wigglytuff here, and they might go for an Icy Wind. They go for the Icy Wind, debuffing our attack, but they've still got a grass type in the back, so this is looking okay for us. We go for the avalanche. We are debuffed though, so it doesn't quite take them out, which might actually be better for us because now we can just let this, no, we're going to shield this up, sorry, go for the Powder Snow farm down, and we will come out with the charge move loaded. I was hoping we'd see a BM Shadow Ball, but honestly, with the debuff, considering it's non-stab and a pretty low CP Pokemon, Shadow Ball probably wouldn't have taken them out there, so we play it safe, go for the avalanche, take out the Wigglytuff, and we take that game. But into the next game, we're going to see Vigoroth in the lead, so we're going to go for the CMP tie here, going for the avalanche, winning CMP, and the opponent is going to shield the first avalanche, so we're probably going to shield the move from the opponent as well, and the opponent this time does full send the rock side, so we can overfarm just a little bit in this matchup. This is just going to be a body slam, so we can just let this go through. Not sure why they're throwing here. This means we can just overfarm a lot more now, build up to the back-to-back avalanches, and the opponent probably just going to let this move go through now, as we do have quite a lot of energy. We're now going to go for a Shadow Ball here, dealing huge damage. We're now going to swap into our Glalie, and honestly, we can just shield this up and go for the farm down. So yeah, that's exactly what we're going to do. The opponent goes for the Stone Edge there, as they only make it to one charge move, and they've got a Frost Sash in the back. So we go for the Shadow Ball, the opponent lets that go through for some reason, I'm not sure why, and we're able to fully Ice Shard, farm them down, and take that game. So going into the next battle, we see Altaria in the lead, so a great lead, but unfortunately we're met with Talonflame, so things go south very quickly as we're going to go for an Avalanche here. Avalanche, going to grab a shield from the opponent, but honestly, this is not looking good for us. We're going to shield, they go for Flame Charge this time, so that's a lot worse for us, but we do at least make it to a second Avalanche before the opponent gets the full farm down, and Avalanche will be grabbing the final shield from the opponent. We have to come in with the Glalie because we're going to take too much damage on our Snorunt, but honestly, I think it's just game over. They go for a Flame Charge. Can we make it to the Avalanche in time? Yes, we're able to do so. That's actually huge for us. Avalanche will be taking out the Talonflame, but unfortunately the Incinerate damage does register. We're probably going to swap straight away into Snorunt. They come back in with the Altaria, and honestly we should try and overfarm here, but no, we're going to go for the Avalanche straight away. Avalanche will be enough damage to take out the Altaria, and the opponent had a Shift Tree in the back, so if we went for the overfarm by maybe just 2 more Powder Snows, I think we could have won this game, but unfortunately they're going to be able to outpace the Glalie to a second Leaf Blade, and Leaf Blade from this range is obviously going to take out the Glalie, and unfortunately we do end up losing that game. But going into the next battle, we see Frost Sash into Lantern, so it's okay for us, not amazing for us, but they're going to be running Water Gun, which just means they're going to be slightly slower to make it to the charge moves. We're going to go for a Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball does big damage there. They let it go through. Honestly, yes, we need to shield our Frost Sash in case the opponent has a Vigoroth in the back. So we're actually going to swap there, trying to bait out the Vigoroth essentially with our Glalie, but the opponent's staying in. They go for a Surf. Surf doesn't do too much damage. At this point we can just go for the resisted Avalanche to take out the Lantern here. I don't expect the opponent to use their shield, so Lantern goes down. They then come in with a Shadow Victory Bell, I believe that was, and Avalanche is going to grab a shield. No, actually a Shadow Weeping Bell, so that is insanely spicy, but unfortunately not going to do too well up against our team as we come in with the Frost Sash. Honestly, these Razor Leaves nearly take us out there. We should be grabbing the final shield from the opponent. We should be able to Powder Snow, farm them down. They've got Altaria in the back, so we can just throw this straight away. Definitely want to throw it straight away this time around, as Avalanche one-shots another Altaria, and we are barely able to get the Powder Snow farm down there. Honestly, that was seriously close, so props to that opponent there for making it that close. But into the next game, another amazing lead for us. The opponent's going to say swap into their Charger Bug, so we're going to go for an Avalanche pretty much straight away. Avalanche goes unshielded by the opponent, and now we're going to swap into our Glalie. Unfortunately, we're probably going to have to use one shield here, as X-Scissor does do a decent amount of damage. Actually, maybe a second X-Scissor won't take us out, but it will be very close. It's quite risky, so we're just going to use our shield anyways. They go for Discharge. It does the same damage as X-Scissor, so it really doesn't make a difference there. But we're going to go for an Avalanche, grabbing a shield from the opponent, and we make it to a second Avalanche with the Glalie. That is massive for us, grabbing both shields from the opponent. Now we've just got to be careful here because the opponent does have a decent energy advantage. They swap, they try to catch the move, and really good disciplined gameplay there, preserving the energy on our Frost Sash, swapping into Snorunt, going for the Avalanche, taking out the Altaria, and now the opponent has to throw, otherwise we make it to another Avalanche. And in this one, we already know that Frost Sass is going to be winning the CMP tie, even if they do throw straight away, and Frost Sass will be able to actually not quite take them out there, but one more Powder Snow does the trick and we're able to take that game. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.